How's this camera? Light okay? Y'all, I am so excited to be up. I've been up for a few hours. Okay. It is 6:31. It was definitely for something when I woke up, and I woke up with this energy and excitement. Good morning, Nat. And I want to talk to you all about reading report cards. Okay. I know this topic doesn't seem super uh sexy and provocative. But if you have school age children, if you are a busy, intentional parent, if you are an entrepreneur, if you're a homeschool mom and dad, it's around that time where we start to feel away because progress reports have come in and report cards are on their way. And um, I want to give you a word of caution because there is a way to read report cards right and wrong. Yes, there's a right and wrong way. And so I'm going to give you so that you can contrast, right? I'm going to give you three ways that you are probably reading report cards that maybe you should shift and evaluate. The reason is because our children's success is not just wrapped up in their school success. I got to take these retainers out. Pardon me. Hold on. Praise the Lord. That sounds so intense. I promise you, it wasn't that intense, but it was stifling my voice. Y'all hear me even better? You hear me better? Give me a number, a thumbs up if you hear me better. So I want to talk to you about report cards because oftentimes, as parents, even as educators, even though we know better, we are so caught up in I better see all A's, I better see all A's and B's. Your grades better not be slipping, and we build all of this expectation around a letter grade. And so I want to take just a moment this morning and I want to let yourself off the hook, let your children off the hook. Um, Not that grades are not important, but that is not the end game. Okay, so a grade, by definition, is a particular level of rank, quality, proficiency, intensity, or value. A grade is a mark indicating the quality of a student's work. The quality of a student's work, not the value of the student. Okay? So it's a rank, a quality, a proficiency, an intensity, or a value. It is a mark indicating the quality of a student's work. Now, I read the definition twice because you may be saying, I know what a grade is. I know what a grade is. I know what a grade is. But y'all have been up for a couple hours. But when we are reading our children's progress reports and our grades, we have to really take a deep breath and read it the right way. Okay, if you're with me, I see a couple people on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. If you're with me, give me a thumbs up so I know that you're with me. So I want to talk to you about report cards. Okay, report cards, it's a card, a sheet of paper, a form online where you see where your child is doing in each and every grade. I mean, each and every subject, right? Or based on different skills. I'm going to give you the three ways that you're reading report cards wrong, and we're going to jump right in. Number one, you don't even know what the grade means. Ooh, what's that? What does a C mean in algebra? What does it mean? Okay, what does it mean? So I want you to look at grades as measuring the proficiency, measuring the knowledge of. But if by chance you don't know what students are learning in algebra, you may not really know what the grade means. Like it's just a letter. It's just a assigned value. And this is not to diminish. We absolutely can utilize grades, but we need to understand what does a C in algebra mean? Can I add, subtract, divide? Do I know quotients, coefficients? Like there is a level of understanding the grade. And I admonish you. I encourage you to ask your child's teacher, what does this grade mean? Because that teacher, right, your partner, in educating your child in school success should be able to explain how this grade came to be. Is the C in algebra actually not turning in assignments? Because there may be teachers that will say, oh, your child knows the math, they're just not turning in their work. So now this grade is really not a reflection of their understanding in algebra, but it is a reflection of executive functioning skills like time management and organization. And that will determine how you have a conversation with your child's teacher, how you have a conversation with yourself, with your child, and how you plan forward. So, really evaluating what does this grade mean? Oftentimes, we're taking a grade at face value and we're running with it based off of emotions, based off of frustrations, even based off of our experience with school and with grades. The same can be flipped if your child has an A. Okay. I'm going to take reading levels, for example, because I loved being a reading teacher. Let me pause as well. If any of this is resonating with you as I speak, and you are interested in a discovery call because you're like, I need more information, these lives are wonderful and great. And I love sharing the information. But if you're like, I actually need a one on one with you because you said something that struck a chord and I need to sit down and figure this thing out, please reach out to me. I own a virtual tutoring company, okay, where we partner with parents and I help you access the skills and resources that your child needs to be successful in school and in life. This is what I do. This is my life's work. And so, if you want to sit down and get really clear on a vision, your goals, and your actionable next steps, go ahead and type me in the chat. Let me know that you are interested, that you're watching, that you want me to run it back. I would love to sit down and have the conversation with you. So, we have to evaluate what a grade means. So, I had a student, I think I've told this story before. I was teaching second grade reading. Student was on grade level when she came into my classroom in maybe November. So she was a new student, came into my classroom and read like Shakespeare. You know what I'm saying? Not like Shakespeare, but just like words just rolled off her tongue. The reading was amazing. So as you can imagine, I'm sure on her progress report now was second grade, so there's not always letter grades, but I'm sure it was like M for mastery or P for proficient. But what I began to understand as a teacher is that if I asked her any question about what she read, she had little to no comprehension. Meaning she could read a whole paragraph, a whole page, a whole passage, a whole book. And I would ask her, what was that book about? And it would be crickets. It would be nothing. It would be nothing. All right, you don't believe me? Let's take us for example. We're reading when we're sleepy, when we're tired, when we're uninterested. We could read a whole page. How many of you, raise your hand if it's you, say it's me, have read a whole page of something? I don't know if it was a textbook, if it was the Bible, if it was a contract. You read a whole page. You got to the end of that page. You knew all the words, you pronounced them all correctly, and you were like, okay, what did I say? You had no comprehension, little to no comprehension. And so you might have an A in reading, but reading is two parts: the decoding, which is the word calling, saying the things, saying the words, the letters, the sounds, and the comprehension, the understanding, the critical thinking that comes along with making meaning out of words. And so if you are going only based off of a grade, and you don't ask the follow up questions, matter of fact, I'm going to create that for y'all. Some follow up questions to ask during report card time. If you are not asking the follow up questions, you are literally missing the mark, pun intended. You're missing the opportunity to really dig into what is it that my child knows, needs to know, understands, misunderstands, and helping them be successful in learning, not just in making the grade. Are you with me? Let me know if that makes sense. Okay. The grade is a measurement. You want to also think about, is it okay? Is it like it's go time when it's report cards? And the weeks up to the report cards, like your grades better be, your grades better be. that's okay to have that conversation, but what is the in between conversation? Like, how are you doing with your chemistry assignments? Are you handing everything on time? How are your grades looking? um how are you understanding? What concepts are you struggling with? Like, there's questions that we can start to ask our children that put more of a value in learning than the value being on the grade. Okay, evaluating how we evaluate the grade. What does the grade mean? What does the grade mean in that context of learning? What does an A mean? What does a B mean? What does a C mean? Some of you are standards based. So what is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or whatever scale it goes up? What does it mean about the concepts, about the learning, about the understanding, about the school habits that your child has developed? Are they handing in work on time? Are they handing in work that's completed? Are they allowing you to assist them with homework or assignments or projects? Are you aware of what's going on at school outside of report card time? If there was never a report card, I don't know why I wanted to get churchy. If there was never a report card, hallelujah. If you ain't never see a grade, would you know how your child is doing with their learning? Would you know how they're doing in math and science and reading? What subject am I missing? Social studies. There's so many subjects. Would you know how they're doing outside of a report card? If the answer is I'm not sure, maybe or no, I want to talk with you. We need to get really clear on your vision for success so that you are showing up as a school parent throughout the year consistently and not just at report card time. Because think about it, what message does it send if I'm a child, I'm going to school, I'm doing the school thing, working hard, handling things, trying to learn. I know my role. I'm a student. And the only time my mom or my dad is concerned about school is when it comes to report cards, when it comes to how I perform, not the day to day, not the ongoing, but when it comes to my performance. And I'm not saying that's the only time that you're concerned. I'm saying that we have to show up and show concern outside of just the report card time. All right. So last week I had a parent teacher conference with Josiah, and they broke down some of his skills and, his development. Some areas it's like he's doing really well. Here's the room for improvement. Like, nothing was surprising. Nothing shocked me. I love conferences. I do, because it's the opportunity just to sit and talk to the teachers. We wrote a little card. Josiah wrote his name and we handed it over. But nothing was like, my child. Now, granted, my son is 3, but this is a habit I'm starting now and I will continue. I have consistent conversations with his teacher. How's he doing socially? How's he getting along with others? How is his sharing? How's he doing emotionally? Is he able to communicate? And how is he showing up at school? What's his disposition? What's his mood? What's his attitude toward learning? And how's he doing academically? Like, where are we at with numbers and counting and letters? Because this is what's happening at home. So that those lines of communication are open, and so it doesn't just depend on report card time. And so you may be thinking, man, I don't got time for all that. It's hard. It's hard to manage. It's hard to balance. And I can teach you how to build some systems and routines where school parenting is a part of your parenting process. And it doesn't feel like a one off or, oh, snap, let me check on homework, let me check on grades. But we can actually build that into our calendar. We can build it into a habit. During my Parent Plus workshops, I taught parents how to embed social, emotional, and academic goals into their family calendar. So this is just a part of the process, a part of learning and growth and development. It's not a one-off. All right, we're going to go to number 2. Number 2, focus on progress. What what's interesting about this one is if you're focused on progress and let's say you get to the report card table and you're like, "What? A D? Like, how did we get here?" I agree. You need to contact me because we want to work to get that D up. But what was the goal and where did we start? What's the subject? What was the goal and where did we start? what was the subject, what was the goal, and where did we start? And if there was no goal, it is like aiming at an unknown target. And so if we hit a D, but there really was no specific goal for learning, not grade, but learning, like acknowledgement of the concepts, then it's an opportunity to come back to the table and do a hard reset. I talked about that yesterday, but doing a reset. And so we have to first identify what's the goal. I'll go to chemistry. I remember being, no, it was biology. I remember being honors biology in college. And y'all, I was like, honors biology, that's a stretch. How did I get here? But I loved excelling and succeeding. So I took the class. I heard it was challenging. I'm like, it's fine. So many concepts to learn and to remember, and ways that I had to really build study habits. But what I remember is that the goal was an A or B. The goal was really to understand what I was learning, to be successful with assignments and quizzes and tests and things like that. The goal was to do really well. But as the C's started showing up, I had to really define the goal. And defining the goal meant defining the habits that would allow me to process the material and get to the grade. So when we are looking at the grade only, we miss the opportunity to really focus on progress and growth. So gradually, I think I ended the year with a B plus, and an honors B plus to me was an A. I was like, yeah, that's cool. But it really meant that I had to focus on the progress. Hi. Hey, Cree. I'm sorry, I just saw your message. Hey, boo boo. Happy belated birthday. Happy belated birthday to you. Yes, I'm gonna interrupt because it's my show. Happy belated birthday to you. It's only belated because it was yesterday. It's not like I didn't say happy birthday. Happy belated birthday to you. Happy belated birthday to you. And we can celebrate all month. Shout out to my Parent Plus friend, Lucretia Haley, doing big things. Just released a book. She's a wife. She's a mother. She's a daughter of the Most High. And she is my friend. Hey, girl. All right. So we want to focus on progress. Okay. So with focusing on progress, you have to have a goal to see that there is progress. You have to have a goal, you have to track a goal, and celebrate the small wins along the way. So many of you may have seen that I was working with Josiah on learning all of his letters. Okay. And this summer, we had a time. We was outside this summer. Okay. Like literally out the country, out the city, out the state, out the house. And so I had to really maintain that the goal is to know and recognize all of the letters. And now we're working on letter sounds. But with establishing that, I had to figure out, where is he at now? Like if the goal is just all 26 letters, then I will and he will feel defeated along the way, because you don't start at 26, right? So I actually had to track, okay, he knows 20. Well, he didn't know 20. I think there were like 12 we were working on. So he knows 14 of the letters. Okay, now he knows 18 of the letters. Okay, now he knows 22 of the letters. So I had to set a goal and not worry about, is he getting an A in letter recognition, but is he making progress? And he is, and he was. And we did a fun game where I threw little cards out on the carpet and told him to pick up different letters. He knew them all but like four. And I said, hey, hey, 22 letters? But every time we did our 5 to 15 minutes of practice, I celebrated that he knew some of them, right? So I want you to be focused on the progress, not just the grade, okay? Report cards are going to be coming out, but I want you to look at what happened in first quarter and what's happening in second quarter or the first semester, and really look at the overall goal. But if you don't have a goal, we need to talk. And the thing is, we still have time. The end of the semester is usually mid-December. And so progress reports have come out for older kids. The first quarter grades have come out. Let's sit down and let's really clarify What's the vision for success, right? What's the goal? What's the actual goal? Where are we at? And with the next 4 weeks, go ahead and jump into tutoring. That's what I'm saying. Like let's get really clear and targeted on what the goal is. And 4 weeks is enough to see progress and improvement. And you still have the rest of the school year. And for many of you elementary moms and dads, you still have the rest of their school career. So it's really establishing those habits. Is this helpful? Like, we're talking about grades. You're reading report cards all wrong and it feels away. It's like, oh my gosh, yes. I'm just looking. Like, how do we look? We glance at a report card, we like A, B, C, D. D. Now we done skipped the A, B, C's and we like D. We didn't say, oh, that's awesome. What are you doing in I don't know why PE, but honestly, what are you doing in PE that's making you successful? Oh, you're excited about the subjects. Oh, you're going to class prepared. Some of your friends are in that class, so you have a good social situation set up. Okay, so what's happening in chemistry? I see chemistry is a B. You're still doing really well, but what's happening in chemistry? Like, a report card really is a conversation starter. Can y'all believe that? A report card is a conversation starter. And then my third point, okay, this one is good. We're looking at report cards as the end all be all, the stamp of like, this is final and this is done. But let me tell you, hey, Rosie, let me tell you that what a report card in report card time allows you to do is to leave with a plan, exit with a plan, walk away with a plan. Okay. Because you're going to notice that there are some patterns of thinking, behaving, performing in your child's academic life, and what you get to do is you get to leave, you get to exit, you get to transition that conversation with a plan. Yes, a plan for the holiday, a plan for transitioning into the new year, a plan for transitioning into the new semester. It looks like a plan. Maybe the plan is remediation, like we really need to catch you up, there is a gap in learning. Maybe the plan is maintaining, you're doing really well, we want to keep you consistent with your study habits, let's keep you in supplemental education's tutoring program because you got them accelerated results and we want to keep that going. Or maybe you're like, we actually need to fast track. Now, fast track don't mean, okay, we're not stressing the babies out, we're not stressing the kids out. But fast track means we need a plan of accelerating your learning, or you're doing really well. And so we want to go ahead and take you to the next level. Let me pause right here and say that my tutoring company does all three. So we are known for accelerated results, whether it is remediation, whether it is maintaining understanding as new concepts and new content is shared from your child's school or teacher, and it is taking our students to the next level. I use this example all of the time. Had a student come to me as a second grader reading, decoding at maybe a kindergarten level with high comprehension. So I'm like, oh, if we can get you decoding, your comprehension is already there. So in 18 months, and this is what happened, his parents just kept renewing with us because they saw the results. His confidence was growing in reading. He was reading with more proficiency. He was reading with more accuracy. He was enjoying reading a bit more. And so they just kept renewing. Like I think at first it was it might have been 6 or 3 months, and then another cycle, and then another cycle. And what happened was, um, we had the student in fourth grade, same student in fourth grade, and he was quoting Invictus. Quoting Invictus. I can't even quote Invictus. Now, I learned to quote it because I was teaching it to him, but I was like, bruh, y'all might be like, what is Invictus? William Ernest Henley, the famous lines, it matters not how straight the gate, how charged with punishments the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. I had him memorize that poem and all of the high level vocabulary, like unconquerable soul, and the what else word what were some other words, oh, figurative language. And so I had him use this poem to build not only his confidence but also his comprehension, and he was able to lean back in his chair during tutoring and quote with comprehension. Like, memorize this poem in 18 months. So I talk about that because there is a level of confidence building that happens when you read the report cards the right way. It's like, all right, game time. You roll up your sleeves. This is where we are. You're telling me this is what you need. Or I've talked with Cassandra, and here's our vision, and here's our game plan, and here's your resources and your support. And we are going to work hard, and we're going to improve your understanding of this subject area. And as your understanding of the subject area increases, so will the grade. The grade will be a byproduct. The grade is not the goal. Oh, that's good. The grade is not the goal. The grade is not the goal. Can you type that in the chat if you're watching and you can be typing? The grade is not the goal. So we can either remediate, we can maintain, or we can accelerate. And really, accelerate is extending your learning if you're already mastering at the grade level. Okay. Report card season is upon us, and I just want all the parents just to breathe. You know what I mean? I want you to breathe. I want you to know it's going to be okay. Do not stress about your child's grades. Do not stress your child out about their grades. Get a vision, get a goal, get a plan. And if you did not have those things before, it's okay. Put them in place now. Put them in place now. And your child will be off from school anywhere from thank you, sis. Let me pin this. The grade is not the goal. It's a byproduct. The grade is not the goal. The learning is the goal. The confidence is the goal, right? The comprehension, the understanding, the knowledge is the goal. The grade is not the goal. The grade is not the goal. The grade is not the goal. I'm gonna keep saying it because somebody is watching and like, nah, but they better bring up. No. The grade is not the goal. Tell you this story. I can I just be honest? Like, every once in a while, a C just slipped up on my report cards. Like, and I'm like, what are you doing here? I'm smart. I'm doing the work. But like for me, also, school was about my social life. Not too much, but like I'm gonna have fun while I'm here. I'm gonna have fun while I'm here, okay? And so then I got home and I was involved in sports and activities. And so, homework got done on the bus sometimes. And I'm don't be like me. I'm sharing my experience. If we would really share our experience as parents with school and share this with our children, then they would be like, okay, so is this is normal and I can build different habits. All right. It's not okay. It's just it's a process of learning, growing, development. Anyway, C's always just not always. There's lots of semesters that I had all A's and B's. Even one semester I had all A's. Shout out to my junior year, first semester, straight A's, and probably in college and definitely in graduate school. But anyway, the grade is not the goal. I remember, again, this was in college, and I studied abroad, and I took an independent study course so that I could still get credit, and it qualifies me being in school. School is a vehicle for travel, and lived my best life in South Africa. Enjoyed it, learned a lot. You can't be in another country and not learn. But what I didn't really, anticipate was that the paper that I was supposed to write about my time there should have been something I worked on for the whole 5 months that I was there, and not the last 2 weeks or whenever I turned this paper in. So, um, because the goal was really not the grade and truly not the assignment, I didn't wrap myself around the assignment. I got a C. I got a C in an independent study. I was like, that's dumb. Like, I'm the one who created the criteria for this class, and then I didn't really think it all the way through, and I just rushed something, and I got a C on a paper. Why am I sharing that with you? Anybody? Why am I sharing it with you? If I would take that C and say, oh my gosh, I suck at insert, traveling and studying, or, writing, or whatever the case is, I would equate that to who I am and not who I was showing up as a student. I'm going to go back to the definition of grade. Okay. A grade is a particular level of rank, quality, proficiency, intensity, or value. It's a rank. It's a mark indicating the quality of a student's work. The quality of my work, not my actual work, not who I was, not my worth, but the quality of my work was average. It was at this level. Now, best believe, and that was my last study abroad experience. If I were to ever do another study abroad, independent study, write a paper on your, I would go in with a clear vision. I would go in with a goal and I would go in with a plan of action. And that is how I want you to think about this last quarter of the year. Well, second quarter of the year, but the last quarter of the calendar year. I want you to think of it as, did I have a vision for my child's success? And did I share that? Were we on the same page? Did we set goals? Or did I just say, you better bring home all A's? I know I better not see no C's or D's on that report card. Is that what you said? Was that a conversation? You know? And did you have a plan? Okay. Did you have a plan? Yes, school parent, you need a plan for your child's school success. It's their school success, but you need to create the plan. You can co create it with them, but there needs to be a plan. So the plan could look like tutoring. The plan could look like joining my Parent Plus community. The plan could look like getting the replay on how to set a clear vision for success. The plan could look like scheduling a discovery call so that you have a vision, you have a goal, and you have the steps to act on. A plan could look like you sitting down with your child's teacher and putting it on the calendar, the times, the dates, the habits, the blocks for studying, like after school activities that also enhance and reinforce the skills that your child is learning. A plan, a plan needs to be in place. And if a plan is not in place, don't worry. You may just be reading the report card wrong, but we could shift that around with a plan. You want to know that number one, evaluate what the grades actually mean so you can read the report card correctly. And usually that is by asking questions of your child's teacher. Focus on progress over a letter grade. Is progress being made? And or what's the next step in learning? What's the next level of support or resource that your child needs? And make sure that when you close out from reading the report cards and talking to the teacher and having conversations with your child, that you are leaving with a plan because you've looked at what is the pattern, what is the cycle, what is needed here. I have a plan. All right. If you need any assistance with that, those of you who need assistance, you know how to reach me. Drop a me in the chat, slide in the DM. I would love to support you because I get excited about report cards. I'm like, oh, okay. Okay, so what was the measure of success? What was the standard? What was the issue here? And nine times out of 10, it's not necessarily it's not only a it it's not only a lack of understanding the content or the concept. It is executive functioning skills. It's the skills that allow your child to actually show up, to be present, to learn, which means confidence, which means organization, which means time management skills, which means self-efficacy, being able to raise their hand and ask and answer questions, growth mindset, not being afraid to make mistakes. We'll talk about all this in these lives because the month of November, we talking about report cards. We talking about grades. We talking about progress because I want you to broaden your scope, broaden your vision of success. It's not just about the grade. The goal is not the grade, but the grade is a byproduct of social, emotional, and academic success, of true learning, of the resources and the support that are needed for your child to be successful in school and in life. All right, I could go on and on and on. I could go on and on and on. I'm looking at my notes and I'll pause right there. I hope that you share this with a parent who you know is about to go off during report card time because I want them to have this information. And if someone shared this with you, they love you and they love your child and they are committed to being a part of your village. Love y'all. God bless your children. And I'll leave you with this. I was reading this morning about Solomon. Solomon was a king known for wisdom, and he could have had anything. Anything. He could have been like, God, give me good grades. But he was like, I want wisdom. I want understanding, because he knew that the root of wealth, the root of health, the root of prosperity, the root of goodness was wisdom. Wisdom is knowledge plus application, right? If he had wisdom, he knew he would have all things. And so he prayed for and asked for wisdom. And so we are going to pray and ask for wisdom as parents so that our children know that wisdom is important, that the understanding, the knowledge, the skills, the application is what's important, and the grade is not the goal. Talk to you guys next time.